To spend money or to not spend money, that's the 質問だよね。じゃあ、僕はIkennaですよね。よろしくお願いします。I'm the language learning dude, and I know you clicked on this video because you want to find out whether you have to spend the big bucks to learn a language or whether you can be kind of like a little mini Jeff Bezos. In either case, you want to spend the least amount of money possible, or perhaps even no money at all. So, is learning a language to fluency for free possible? I have to tell you, that's a tricky question. Okay, so the answer is technically yes, but that's a big technically. And let me elaborate. So while you can learn a language for free, completely free to fluency, there is a very large opportunity cost that you are paying. Simply stated, learning a language for free is going to be much more frustrating and take you much longer to reach fluency. And you have a larger risk of giving up and never reaching fluency. So, do you still want to go down this route of freedom? Because if so, well, I'm gonna try to help you as much as I can. Here's how I would do it. So first thing first, the most important step that a lot of people in the beginning forget to take is to learn the specific sounds of the language and how to pronounce them. So I recently went to a language learning conference, and one of the guys there who gave a presentation used this analogy for speaking without a proper accent or speaking without pronouncing things properly. It's essentially like if someone's writing you an email and they have 7 of their keys missing, meaning they can't use the letter A, they can't use the letter S, they can't use the letter T, whatever, and they're trying to send you an email. Now, you can probably understand what they're trying to say, but it's going to take a lot of brain power from your end to try to understand what they're trying to say. Now, if you can't pronounce your words the right way, it's the same thing for that native speaker when they're talking to you. It's like, ooh, they have to really work hard. In addition to that, when you learn to pronounce words properly, you learn the specific sounds that make up the language. Now, this is great for when you're listening to the language because then you're able to pinpoint those sounds better, meaning you're able to comprehend the spoken language better. I can't stress this enough. Learning proper pronunciation in tandem or while learning the basics of the language at the same time from audio, from native speakers, is beautiful, and it's one of the most important things, if not the most important thing to do in the beginning. So if you want to learn the basics of the language and also learn the proper pronunciation of it, there are some options for you. The first one is called language transfer. Basically, this dude created a bunch of free courses for, I think now it's up to 6 or 7 different languages. I'm not entirely sure. I know there's Spanish and there's Arabic and a few others, so definitely check out the website. I'll put links to everything I mentioned in the video down below. But it's super cool, and it's a very innovative way to kind of go about introducing someone to the language, and I do know that they cover pronunciation as well as the basics, so definitely check it out. If that's not available, then just Google websites for whatever language you're learning that might explain the basics and also go over pronunciation. If that doesn't work out, YouTube, the same thing. And if that really doesn't work out, or if you feel like it's taking you way too long to be able to kind of attack the basics and attack the pronunciation, what you can do, and this is not for people who want to go completely free, but this is mainly for people who, you know, are okay with spending just a little bit of money, I would go for Pimsleur. So Pimsleur is a great program. It covers audio from native speakers. It really goes hard on making you pronounce things the right way. And it used to be like $500, but now it's like $14 to $19 a month, something around there. And I understand if you're trying to learn completely free, it's not for you, but if there's anything I would recommend you to spend money on, it'd probably be that, especially in the beginning, because if you don't start off right, then you're kind of building a house on a shitty foundation, if that makes sense. And the cool thing about Pimsleur is that you can try it out for free, so if it doesn't really gel with the way that you learn languages, you don't have to use it, but if you end up really liking it, then hey, voila, that's perfect. So the next step is input, which is hearing as much of the language as possible from native speakers, and this really helps up your listening skills and also your pronunciation skills too. Your options will include watching TV, watching YouTube videos, watching movies, listening to music, and listening to podcasts in your target language, which is great because most of those things you can do for free. Hey, so the next stage is building up your vocab and understanding the basics of the grammar. Alright, so for this, your options include Googling for whatever your language is, and then also put Anki decks. Now, I talked about Anki in my video on Best Language Learning Hack 2019. I'll put a link to it right here or there. I highly recommend you to check out this video. Anki is godsend. It is amazing to help you. It's amazing. It is an amazing tool to help you learn and remember words, and you're doing yourself a very big disservice if you don't at least investigate it and check it out and use it, because it really does help. Aside from Anki decks, what you could do is you can Google when you don't understand something grammar-wise. Like, for example, there's a sentence that keeps on popping up and you're like, how does that work? Just Google it. I do believe last time I used Memrise, which is a website, memrise.com, I believe they had a really cool flashcard system as well that you can also use for free. I'm not sure if it's like a freemium kind of model, but would recommend checking out Memrise too. And last but not least, websites, YouTube, podcasts, whatever, anything you can find that's a little bit structured, that says, you know, from beginner to intermediate, and they kind of take you through things in a somewhat structured manner. That is perfect, especially if you can find it for free. But all that said, there is a big danger here, and this is probably where most people will end up giving up or crying or both. The danger is this: when you don't have a structured method where you can clearly track your progress from, okay, I'm learning beginner words now, I'm learning beginner concepts, okay, I'm starting to advance, okay, I'm learning intermediate stuff. If you don't have that, then you run the risk of learning words or concepts or phrases that aren't at your current level. Meaning, you know, you might learn a sentence or a phrase that's advanced, and then you learn something that's a bit too easy, and then you learn something that's a bit just out of your reach, and you never kind of know where you stand. And when you don't know where you stand, that's when you're likely to give up and get frustrated. Which is really why I recommend the Anki frequency list in the language learning video I did on Biggest Language Learning Hack 2019. Really will help. Because the problem is, just like dreadlocks, if you let them grow freestyle, sometimes they can grow like this, or sometimes they can grow like this, because there's a lack of structure. And it's just like learning a language for free. There is a lack of structure. It's a free form style of learning. Where you end up will really depend on how dedicated you are and which specific resources you use. The next step is output, which is creating as much of your own sentences as possible, speaking them as much as possible, and getting that crucial feedback of, oh, you said this a bit wrong, or oh, you said this right. If you are learning a language for free, this will be your saving grace. This is going to be the thing that probably helps you improve your language more than any other resource or tool or specific book or course that you can use. So for the output step, your options include HelloTalk, Tandem, and probably my personal favorite, Interpals. Now, these are websites where you can find people who speak the language that you want to learn, and you can do a language exchange. Let's say they want to learn English, let's say they want to learn Spanish, whatever language you speak. You can go after that. You can go on this website and they can teach you their language. You can speak to them a lot, you can text them a lot, and you obviously reciprocate and give them a bit of your language too. The one greatest benefit of speaking to a pen pal or going on one of these websites and becoming friends with people is that you never know. You can end up, when I was trying to learn languages for free, I had 4-hour-long, 5-hour-long discussions with pen pals because I made good friends with them. Even when I went to Japan, I met one of these pen pals that I used to have, and he showed me all around Shibuya. It was amazing. That really is a huge plus, the fact that if you click with someone, you can end up spending hours and hours and hours talking to them, whereas someone you have to pay, you know, it's not gonna happen. Like I said, all the resources, all the websites I mentioned will be down below. Doing all these steps can and will take you to an intermediate level. But to get to an advanced level, that's really going to be hard without spending any money. For example, paying online tutors or even going to the country where the language is spoken. Your best bet to really get to an advanced level is hopefully you have some friends in real life that are native speakers that you can practice with, or you make some friends in real life that are native speakers and you can go places with them, you can go to the mall, you can hang out with them. That would be a free way of doing it and would really help. Again, it's not structured. It really will depend on who your friends are, how much they feel comfortable speaking to you and all that stuff. But at least getting to an intermediate level, you can definitely do that for free. Because again, I have to stress, it's gonna be hard to learn a language for free, but if you really put your mind to it, you can definitely do it. And if you are more comfortable with spending a bit of money, then I would highly recommend you both to check out Pimsleur, which I talked about in the beginning of the video, but also to check out the video I did, how to learn any language in 6 months, because then I go over all the paid resources that I use, and I really try not to spend a lot of money too, even when I'm buying things. So if you really are on a tight budget, I would also recommend to check out that video. But anyways guys, hope it helped. Hope you can learn your language. Now you don't have any barriers, you don't have anything that's restricting you. And yeah, that's it for me guys. Share your experiences learning a language for free, or how you plan to learn a language for free down below. I'm curious to hear them, and sayonara.